For a country such as India, technology can play an essential role in propelling us into the next era of development. A public-private partnership in technology can help solve complex challenges in education, healthcare, infrastructure, and essential public services.
This particular session will explore technology partnerships that can address complex problems across diverse industry sectors. We are calling it Early Harvest Program, and I'd like to invite on stage the moderator for this session, Mr. Devendra Parulekar, Partner Advisory Services, EY. And the panelists for this session are Masaki Takayanagi, CEO, SBI Ven Capital Pte. Please welcome Ruchira Shukla, South Asia Lead for TMT Investments, IFC World Bank Group. Prabhat Jain, who's the founder of Monsoon Multimedia. Vipin Tyagi, Executive Director, CDOT.
Primarily applications, whether in agriculture, whether in utilities, whether in education, whether in healthcare, or building smart cities, or any of those topics, there are many low-hanging fruits which can be achieved. So I thought maybe, I'll start with Mr. Vipin Tyagi. You are at the forefront of some of these low-cost innovation in this country. And the last mile where delivering this low-cost technology to the end citizen is probably that you're facilitating. So would you want to talk about some of the initiatives that, CDOT is taking and how it's related to the Digital India program?
What we have right now, we have about 1 million ports which are going to be coming across all the lengths and breadth of India, which will be having 100 Mbps connectivity, and these are the beachheads from where you will go to your police stations, you will go to your post offices, you will go to your industry that you have set out there, you will go to the Wi-Fi hotspot, you will go to all the IT things that you want to do in the rural hinterland. And the technologies, the low-hanging fruit there is manufacture. Technology is already available for multiple people, and then you can have the different wireless solutions, you can have fiber solutions from there, you can have the solutions which are based on 2G, 2.5G, 3G.
So CDOT provides the infrastructure on which a lot of these innovations will eventually happen.
Coming back to the second part, which is most exciting part, how do we deliver all these digitized services running in a quality way to the people who are from the rural India? Some of us know that there are language differences, there are differences in terms of education levels, but they're all customer of the government. So what we have done is that we have created a product called Gyan Setu, which means bridge to knowledge. It works for a person who is not illiterate. It works for a person who is disabled, and he gets all the services from the net without keyboard and mouse. What I would argue to the innovators is that take technology to human being. Don't train human being to the technology. It's like putting the horse behind the cart.
Thank you so much. Moving on to Prabhat. Prabhat has been at the forefront of a lot of the innovation that has happened in Silicon Valley. Prabhat, you've also revolutionized the entertainment industry, right? You looked at VOD, you looked at some of those products out there. Now, and he mentioned about Gyan Setu, which is taking the the content out there to the last mile, which is the citizen. How would you like to elaborate on his point? What would you like to say on that?
Sure. I think that it may be in order to speak a little bit about how the Silicon Valley evolved and what lessons we can learn in India. One is the counterculture of the 60s and the free speech movement of the anti-Vietnam War basically opened people's minds, especially the young people's minds, and they thought of three things: question authority, think different, change the world. And that is what we thought about the whole time. The second thing that happened in the Silicon Valley was there was mass government spending to fund programs. And the spending came from the military. It came from the CIA. And they were doing all this for one reason. And the reason was how to survive a nuclear attack. So the government was spending a lot of money, pouring it into universities. And what did the universities do? They taught us how to use technology, not develop technology, but use technology and bring it to the masses. So my goal right now in life is to bring technology to the underprivileged.
Then moving on to Ruchira. Ruchira is, has been a lead investor in the TMT space. What would you like to talk about the?
Let me first start by saying a few positive things on what's gone well in the TMT sector. Having been invested in this space for quite some time, and IFC has a big portfolio in the South Asia region. For one, we all know that India is the worldwide leader in technology talent. And having gone from being the world's technology services hub to creating innovations in business models, India is making its mark and the world is taking notice. Also, this Digital India initiative is a very encouraging move because it aims to create a seamlessly connected economy. And what would that do? Once you have a seamlessly connected knowledge economy, you have higher productivity of government, higher productivity of citizens, and that creates all the extra space for innovation. And that's where you can create the solutions, not just for urban India, but for the rural masses and the semi-urban segments on things that can drive employment and increase livelihood. And when I think about the Early Harvest Program or any other initiative that the government intends to undertake under the Digital India initiative, the very important factor I'd like to emphasize is private sector inclusion. Because the participation of the private sector not only brings an additional source of capital, it allows you to tap into a supplemental source of managerial and technical talent, and the private sector would be more than willing to be held accountable to very stringent and well-defined SLAs. So then what you can ensure is the things that were looking good in the planning stage actually get implemented on the ground.
Thank you. Saki, over to you now. Japan has gone through this maybe a decade earlier, right?
Yes.
You had similar experiences of digitizing an entire population. What were the other challenges or the problems that Japan faced while digitizing itself?
Sure. As you mentioned, Japan has gone through something similar, which India is trying to do now.
Yes.
And Japan, back in 2001, the government announced the e-Japan strategy.
Yes.
It was a 5-year plan. And this strategy became very prominent in Japan in promoting the e-government, broadband, etc. But at the same time, what the government also said was we try not to intervene too much. Because we are the government, we don't try to dominate what the private sector people are doing. And I think that's one of the very key important message. A little bit about SBI. We have invested in about 680 companies in Japan and globally so far. And many of them are actually in the IT electronic sector. And what we try to do is we try to contribute to the government, but at the same time we can say that we are the beneficiary of the government's policies in e-government.
Right.
And for example, taking the broadband initiative, for example, we made a number of investments in this area, for example, medical and education. And talking about the challenges,
yes.
As you mentioned, the Japanese population is decreasing and aging. Over 30% of the population of 125 million is over 60 years old at the moment. And this aging is becoming worse and worse. And back in 2001, the Japanese government announced in 5 years' time, over 50% of all the government-related paperwork in relation to the citizens of Japan will be digitized. And quite impressively, the Japanese government achieved it. But as you partially mentioned, because of these old people not used to the internet environment, the utilization didn't go up that much. So now what the government is trying to do is trying to kind of educate, encourage people to utilize it more. And there are a number of initiatives. One is marketing, and one is, for example, if you register online, the price is so much cheaper, sometimes half. So by educating, raising awareness, the utilization of e-government, the government is trying to nourish and nurture.
Ruchira, can you tell us about any of your portfolio companies where there is a direct impact, right, on society, and it's directly aligned to our Digital India program?
An example that comes to mind is a broadband company.
Broadband company, okay.
And so the company we've chosen to invest in actually creates a fixed broadband network using unlicensed spectrum.
Oh, okay.
And so
Wi-Fi.
it's a Wi-Fi spectrum, and when you first listen to their story, your reaction is, well, there'll be so much interference.
Okay.
Because this is unlicensed spectrum, there'll be so much noise from other devices. But they've done some smart engineering around, focused beams, smart antennas, and they've been able to deliver a quality of service where an average semi-urban home is downloading 20 GB a month.
Okay.
At a very, very competitive price point. So I think those are the kind of innovative solutions that have an impact and, to my earlier point, have commercial viability, and we've supported them.
That's a very good point. And Prabhat, your company has developed a technology.
Right. Yeah,
and I want you to talk about it, and particularly how you're delivering education, telemedicine, and some of these things.
Great.
Right?
Great. What we thought of doing is something really exciting recently. 20,000 billion voice minutes a year through 7 billion phones are made every year. 20,000 billion voice minutes. Now, so what we said to ourselves is, if we convert some of these voice minutes to video minutes at the same price as voice, which is less than 1 cent a minute, wow, that would be fantastic. And one of the things that I started focusing on is the fact that many people who can't read and write and who only use voice would love to use video. Now, the use of video is huge. It's in healthcare. If a person is sick in a village, they can call their doctor and do a video call. They can get education. They can do a lot of different things. But the challenge has been, because of the bandwidth issues, very few people have been able to use video, and they've basically given up. We want to use 2G and bring this innovation to the masses.
All right. So Vipin, would you want to build on that, because you are at the forefront of broadband, and you're also solving one of the issues that
I was
mentioned,
following
right?
and then I have some data points supporting them.
Okay.
So we have 284 million minutes of outgoing internet telephony in this country. Okay. So already the point that is being made, that the voice is a commodity. It's a commodity business. The commodity business exists, but you can't differentiate your business and business models based on voice unless you have the value layer on top of it. Number 2 point you made about India being digitally not very broadband connected. The data point there is that the world average of the download speed is 22 Mbps as on today, because it is being monitored on daily basis. And we have in India about 11.5 or 6.5 Mbps of download speed, 4.3 Mbps upload speed on fixed line. On mobile, the condition is even not so good. It is 3.0 Mbps.
Yeah.
So we are a data-starved nation, and our ranking is pathetic. We have to have alternatives suiting the requirement. What I'm saying is there is no fit-all solution.
Correct.
But majority public infrastructure has to be on the fiber.
Right. So Masaki, if you've done any investments in the emerging markets on the broadband side, we would love to hear some stories and some learnings from that.
Sure. The government broadband initiative, we are very keen for it to develop.
Okay.
Because as I mentioned, we made a number of very attractive investments around broadband.
Okay.
For example, in the medical area, we made an investment in this medical company. And what it does is it provides the medical services to people in the remote areas. That was already achieved in Japan, and we made very good investments. And education, we made an investment into the private MBA school in Japan. And again, the first-class professors, they're all in Tokyo. But because of this, students from Hokkaido to Kyushu to Okinawa, they can all participate. One thing about the broadband is once these pipes are in place, suddenly all sorts of new breed of companies, they pop up.
Correct.
And many of these companies, they grow very, very quickly.
Yes.
So we would like to see something similar in India.
So Ruchira, you know, one of the points which you mentioned was ease of use and simplicity, right? And the early harvest is about taking governance to the citizen in a very simple, easy, friendly manner, right?
Right.
Would you want to elaborate on that topic?
It has to be completely ready for the illiterate farmer or somebody with very basic education, and therefore has to have an extremely user-friendly setting, buttons that are easy to understand, etc. It cannot be designed the way some of the international applications that we all use are designed, because they are mostly targeted at the educated upper middle class society. So if you are trying to tap into the grassroots, the bottom of the pyramid, this has to be extremely user friendly. And if it is designed that way, it will then deliver a very high quality user experience.
Correct.
And will then deliver on this promise of efficiency that we want to get out of it.
You know, I want to take this from you and the rest of the team. Many of you I know here are budding entrepreneurs or have companies, and they need to get funded. And you know, I have raised over $500 million in my life, and in some instances I've started a company with one person or two people and gone to my friends, and you know, etc., etc. We are really living in an era now where money should not be a problem for you. And in as much as the government wants to help and implement all these things, I think the real power is with the entrepreneurs. They will figure it out. They will build the infrastructure. They will solve some of the problems that we are speaking about. You know.
I'm going to ask each one of you to give me one game-changing idea, okay? According to you, wherever you've seen, or maybe you've just thought of it right now, okay, which is going to change the way governance is delivered to the citizen in this country. Whoever wants to go first. Yes.
See, I'm on the answer side. Being R&D, people expect I always bring out something new, which is more. And then being in the rural area, it's even more difficult. But let me give a shot. I think I need a drone to find out, which flies over the village, to find out what are the pesticides which are required there, and tell me immediately what is the variety of this and how I can reduce the pesticide investment of the farmer.
Fantastic.
Through a online, simple, context-driven engine that I am talking about is number one. Second one is that, every doctor looks for patient to fill the time gap which they have in their hospital. If I have a digital pre-process screening through 10 classes student who actually looks at the patient and says whether he need to come to doctor, whether what he need to do and schedules all of this, the doctors will be rich and the patient will be less poor, so to say, right? So if we have the catchment process automatized, digitalized, personalized, and taken care, where 10 to 20% dispensation happens free of cost, the rest is, doctor treats them very well.
Fantastic. Prabhat, give it a shot.
Well, there are 170 million smartphones in India today. Well, that's great for the people who want to stream content to a poor villager in India somewhere, because she or he want to have some content. Okay. The problem is that the download speeds and the uplink speeds also are very low. But I think so people who can figure out how to uplink and downlink on 2G can stream content. This is going to be a big business because we all like to watch content, especially Indian society is very video centric, entertainment centric.
Right, absolutely. Ruchira.
So the idea that I would like to see happen is long distance mobile based training and education in an accredited fashion. Not something on the side that the person who goes through the program can then not get a job, but something that can eventually get that individual a job, and the solution should be commercially viable. So the question that I'll be asked, well, that poor illiterate person cannot pay for this kind of education that is high quality, delivered in a manner that can make him or her employable, but then the employers should pay.
Right.
So there has to be a fully integrated solution where well-recognized education delivered long distance on a mobile device can then lead to employability.
Right. Musaki, yes.
I compare India with other Asian countries I cover as well. And my impression is this digital India, Make in India programs, they are really fascinating and great. So I fully support these programs. But at the same time, I was thinking about your wording of game-changing ideas. How I feel is, as I mentioned, the government, we fully appreciate what the support they provide to the people of each country. But at the same time, they should not intervene when they don't have to, because I'm a believer of the small government
very
myself.
Important. Yep.
And also, your comment about the entrepreneurship, that's also very important for the growth of the country. Today, in 2015, in Japan, we see a number of very successful entrepreneurs. So I think for this country to nurture the entrepreneurship more, I think this infrastructure can play a very important role.
Fantastic. Great. So thank you very much. I think you've been a fantastic panel, great audience. We loved this conversation, and you can always get in touch with us subsequently as well. Thank you so much.